I found my wife's obituary online, but she's sitting right next to me. Here's the story. I am chronically online. I Google lots of things and people when I'm bored. I've Googled my own name before, along with friends, acquaintances, conspiracy theories, and random internet sundries. But last night was the first time I'd Googled my wife's name. And I found something I'd never forget. The first hit was an obituary. Of course, I assumed it was someone with the same name as her. Her first name is Emily, and her last name is pretty common. Not going to share it here because I don't want to be doxxed. But I clicked it anyway, just out of curiosity. My heart fell through the floor when I saw a photo of my wife on the website. Blonde highlighted hair, dark eyes, and the dates matched up too. 1986 to 2012. According to this obituary, she died when she was 26. I met her when she was 27. There's no way, I thought. This must be just someone who looks like her, with her name and her birth year, but I knew it was too many coincidences to be wrong. When I read the actual obituary, it only cemented things for me. It mentioned her love of horses, her volunteer work at a soup kitchen through her church, and her work as a biologist postdoc. So many details matched up, there was no way it could be a coincidence. What you looking at? I jumped as my wife came in from the kitchen and sat down next to me. On instinct, I slammed the laptop shut. Nothing, I said. Then, realizing how suspicious I looked, I added, I was looking at birthday gifts for you. For a second, her face froze, and I was worried she wouldn't buy my lie. But then she smiled. That warm smile I loved, crinkling her eyes at the corners. That's so sweet, she said, coming to sit next to me. I swallowed. Yeah. She cuddled up next to me, but I felt completely on edge. The warmth of her skin no longer felt warm and inviting. In fact, a chill ran down my spine. After a few minutes, I extricated myself from her embrace. I don't feel good, I lied. I'm going to lie down. Aw, okay, she said, pouting. Before she could say anything more, I ran upstairs. As soon as I got on the bed, I brought up the obituary again. I stared at that grainy image of her face. It was definitely her. That warm smile, those mysterious dark eyes, there was no way it could be anyone else. I scrolled through some of the other results, and I realized some of those too were related to her death. There was a Facebook memorial page, friends posting on it, names I didn't recognize, mourning her loss more than 10 years ago. The university she worked at had put out a statement with their condolences as well. But then I found something that made my heart stop. A news article nestled at the bottom of the search results page. Emily hadn't just died, she'd been murdered. My jaw hung open as I read the news article. Phrases popped out at me. No signs of forced entry, partially dismembered, and killer still at large. The news article didn't have a photo of Emily though, so maybe this was a different Emily? It had to be. It couldn't be my Emily who was sitting on the couch watching TV downstairs. A sound jolted me out of my thoughts. The door to the bedroom creaking open. Emily stood in the doorway, oddly still. The hall light was off, shrouding her face in the shadow. Emily? I asked, my voice shaking. I came up to check on you, she said in a soft, cool voice. Thanks, I said, quickly turning off my phone and slipping it behind me. I'm feeling a lot better now. I'm fine. I'm glad to hear that, she said, her voice going lower. I tried to keep my cool as she climbed into bed with me. I lay there, stiff and cold, as she wrapped her arms around me. I love you, baby, she whispered, as she cuddled with me under the covers. I love you too. So that's where I am now. I'm writing this from my phone as Emily sleeps next to me. I don't know if I'm safe here. I don't know who or what I'm dealing with. All kinds of crazy scenarios have begun floating through my mind. Did Emily have an identical twin that died and she took over that twin's identity? Is she some horrible creature from folktales who killed Emily and took on her appearance? The more minutes that tick by, the wilder my theories get. None of them make sense. There's only one thing I'm sure of. Whoever or whatever I'm sleeping next to isn't the real Emily. The comment section went wild with theories, but many leaned into the humor and dark fantasy to cope with the creep factor. One user wrote, "Nothing to be frightened of, just a friendly skinwalker. Maybe reassure her you'd like to help the next time she needs feeding. Communication is important in a relationship." Another popular theory from another user, My theory is the body parts were not DNA tested and Emily is the killer. And another user summed it up with, you married a woman who either faked her death, is in top secret ops, or is a supernatural creature. Either way, don't mess it up. Many commenters also asked if the OP had ever met her family, or wondered how she legally exists if she was declared dead. This story had the entire comment section speculating, joking, and spiraling. 40% believe Emily is some kind of supernatural being, like a skinwalker or ghost, and joked about letting sleeping skinwalkers lie. 35% leaned towards human explanations. She faked her death, assumed a new identity, or was in witness protection. 25% were suspicious of OP for not asking her directly, and thought it was all misunderstanding or online error. Overall, most people treated it like a mystery thriller or horror fantasy, and whether she's alive, dead, or something else entirely, they say OP should tread carefully. Whether this is a ghost story, a case of stolen identity, or something way darker, one thing's for sure, it's Emily to him. Just maybe keep the lights on tonight and maybe don't Google your partner's name.